Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Glad to have you in the building with me tonight. Welcome to Purpose and Productivity. I'm Florence, and we're going to talk about an interesting topic tonight. It's interesting because it's something we know well, I believe, as adults, as working adults. Some of us who've been around a little bit longer than others, but I think we know this, but we don't think about it in the way that we could. Uh, the last time we were together, I talked about using cloud storage, but it wasn't just or it's cloud systems, cloud-based systems, but it's not just having a cloud-based system for having a cloud-based system just to have it. It is because cloud-based systems allow you to work in a way that's very efficient and productive if you know and learn all of the components that are available to you. So today we're going to do a little bit of exploration, just a tad bit of exploration of starting to look into and dig into setting up one productivity environment using cloud-based tools and using a single environment to do so. So, we're going to talk about using the Google environment for this cloud productivity system. And when I say that, I'm talking about everything from note taking to document creation to task management to calendar management to communication management. Communication has lots of parts to it, to data collection that you may need to do to reporting or spreadsheets. So, all of those components, we're going to start to look at them as an ecosystem or one place where all of these tools work together so that you're not jumping from this thing to that thing to the other thing, this app to that app to the other app. That switching between applications takes a toll on you and it reduces the effectiveness, especially if you don't build workflows that account for how to make them smooth. Now, let me say this by way of full disclosure. I use multiple tools, but the reason I can use them effectively is because for years I've built up automations to move data between systems and I know exactly when I'm putting what where. I've got some automations that just happen automatically. I never touch them. So what I want is exactly where I'm going to look for it. And in other ways, I have considered just switching to one. The reason I don't is because I have built my workflows around these systems. So if you built workflows around various tools, and this is really like kind of looking at tools, if you built your workflows where they're efficient for you and they work for you, there's little to no friction, or when you're really aware and you pay attention to when you find a point of friction in your system, and it can be something really, really small. And I'll give you some examples tonight of things that are very small that I worked through to make sure that I addressed them as they came up. Then great. What I would ask you to do, get questions. I want to answer your questions around this topic. What challenges are you having with setting up your ecosystem? What questions do you have? What thinking do you have? What is it you think you don't know that maybe not just myself, but others in the community can help you understand, can help clarify for you, and help you move forward in what you want to accomplish. And when I say what you want to accomplish, I mean what you want to be productive in. And it can be content creation, it can be community service, it can be in your home, it can be in your church, it can be in your job, it can be in your family. So wherever that is in your life that you want to be productive to create something to produce a result, it's what I'm talking about. So let me say hello to some folks who are here with me today. I'm so glad to have you guys in the building. So I want to say welcome to you. Let me say, Sue, say who's here. So let me see who's here. Hello, Frank Jackson. Glad to have you in the building and glad you're waving at me in the lounge. And moderator, salute to you. And there is the emotional CEO. Yes, happy Friday, Live Tribe. Glad to have you all in the building. And you may not be commenting, but you're watching. Thank you. I see there are 8 folks who are watching right now. So thank you for being here. Hey, David Hunt, how are you doing, sir? You're leaning into this community thing, so I'm loving it, loving it, loving it. Hello, Miss Laura Thompson. Glad to see you. I just got off the phone a little bit ago with Alex, so trying to work some things out there. So glad to have you in the building with us. And hello, Tora. Glad to have you in the building. And I know you have some questions because you always have questions. You always have questions. And moderator, salute to Miss Inanea. So glad to have you always here with us, serving the community and serving this channel. So let's jump into it. I talked about looking at this tool. So I'm going to do a little screen share. And if you need me to change the screen, I love dark mode, but if it's hard to see, let me know and I'll try to figure out how to turn it into light mode because I don't use light mode. But I'm just logged into a Google account, a plain old everyday Google account. And I want to start with understanding I won't say all, but many of the tools that you have access to. Just if you just think about this, the Google environment is a whole suite of many software products and they work together. This is exactly what I was describing when I said having an ecosystem. So this little um, square, let me move this over. This little thing that looks like a checkerboard, it's called an app launcher. When you open it up, you'll see there are lots and lots and lots of applications. Many people don't go past email, maybe their calendar for the most part. They don't look at this part. These tools work together. This is exactly the same thing that happens in the Microsoft 365 world. It's very similar to what happens in the Apple world. I'm using Google as an example because it's one of those that it's so prevalent. So many people have Gmail, it's ridiculous. So that's why I chose this. So I want to show you a couple of things you can do. Your app launcher may not be arranged the same way mine is. I have Gmail, I have Calendar, I have Drive, Contacts, YouTube, Keep, Docs, Account, Chrome, Search, Maps, Google Play, News, Google Meet, Google Chat, Translate if you need to do some language translation, Photos, Ad Center if you're going to run ads, Shopping, Gemini, their large language model, Finance, Sheets, Slides. Sheets is like Excel, Slides is PowerPoint or Keynote type of tool, Books, Blogger, Classroom if you're in education, Earth, which is looking at the earth, what's saved, arts and culture. My point is, if you haven't looked at all of these, you don't know that all of these capabilities are available to you. But you may not know that you can rearrange what's in this app launcher. You just left click on it. Let me turn on my Pro Mouse for a second because that is going to Pro Mouse. You got to be able to spell. There it is. All right. So you can left click on any of these icons like forms. If I'm going to use forms a lot, you can drag it and rearrange it. So you can move this up. You don't have to leave these the way they are. You can put them wherever you want in whatever. Or so the apps you use most often, I would say arrange them here at the top. The ones that you rarely use, push them down to the bottom. I use Google Docs a lot. I don't use Google Slides hardly at all. I use Google Sheets quite a bit, so I'm going to slide this up here. And I use Forms quite a bit. I also use Google Voice. So I'll slide that up here as well, right? And I don't use Chrome this way, so I'm not going to stick it here. These are ones that I'm not going to go to. So now I think, if what would be the thing that I use the most? I would move my calendar over here. If I use Google Keep, I would arrange it. I go to YouTube all the time. My contacts would be next. And for me, probably Docs. Those would be my top 6 that I would use. For you, it could be any top 6. The point is, arrange it so when you click here, you're going to see the things that you use most often. The applications, the Google applications you use most often. That's the beginning of defining your ecosystem. Figuring out what are the things you use. I know there are people here in the community. Hey, Natalie Johnson Lee, so glad to have you in the building, and Tech Troublemaker. Glad to have you here, sir, showing your AI chops. Tech Troublemaker, your Chat GPT, your friend, your chops with Chat GPT. So lay out this app launcher so that you remove the friction of getting to the application. First and foremost. The other thing to think about is each one of these applications you can go to, and you may know this already, but I'm being this intentional for anyone who's maybe watching on the replay, and you may not have ever thought of these steps in a way that will reduce the friction in your workflow, or even how do I arrange this environment so that it works for me and I can reduce my cycles or the amount of time or the amount of clicks that I have to go through to use it or to get to it or when I want to use it. That's the reason I'm going through this. I work in IT or technology, and I see consistently, what I'm about to say is something I see very consistently. Most of the people, we call them users, who you get these tools, the software that they're provided, they don't actually learn how the software works. They do the part that's most obvious, but the interesting, not inter- intricacies, I can't speak today, the intricacies they don't learn. And it's learning those kind of slightly advanced features is where you start gaining your efficiency and you start reducing the friction in your workflow. So I want to take the time to go through these things that you may know them already, but someone doesn't. That's why I'm going through this. So here we are. I'm going to go back. And we have now got this app launcher arranged the way we want. But the other thing to know, each of these applications, if you click on it and look in the toolbar, the address bar, let me pull this down so you can see it. In the address bar, in the world of Google, is usually the name of the app.google.com. So if I go to Google Keep, which is the note-taking app, I don't have to start up Gmail, click the app launcher, find Google Keep, and click on it. I can just type in keep.google.com and go right in. Same thing with if I'm building a form, I can just go to, in this case, docs.google.com and get right to it. That's another friction reducer. Why? You can build a text expander shortcut snippet to get there. That's one way to automate it. If you have a Stream Deck, you can put that web address on a Stream Deck button and just hit the button and go there. So you don't have to always start by saying, let me go to Gmail and let me click over here and let me click over here and go find what I want. You can go straight to it. Knowing how these applications are named is a cheat code. Many people actually don't know that. They think they actually have to use the menu. Now, Roy, I know you know this because as you say, you sold your digital soul to Google a long time ago. You know all of these advanced tips. David, I know you know many of them because you use the Google ecosystem as well. But for that person who doesn't, these are really good efficiency tips. Help you produce what you want to produce because you're not spending as much time getting to the thing or the software that you want to get to. Anybody got questions? And if this has so far made sense to you, put a one in the comments. If it has made sense to you, go ahead and put a one in the comments and let me know that it's making sense to you. And also, if you have a question, you can ask me an advanced question. Go ahead and put a Q colon in front of it, ask your question, and I will be glad to start answering your questions. Now, I do want to say hello to Tech Troublemaker. Glad to have you in the building. And of course, hey, you made it. Yes, you did. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I'm glad to see you in the building. So this only made sense to, okay, three people. Great. I'm glad it made sense to somebody. And I'm not just talking to hear myself talk. Glad to hear it. Now that you kind of see, you see this a little bit, what I want you to start thinking about is you need um, a note taker. So, what are the things you need? You need a note taking app. These are the core parts. You need something to take notes in. You need, of course, you need an email system because everybody communicates by email these days. You need a calendar. These are the core components. We all know these. You need a calendar. We still write documents. So, some type of a word processing tool for when you want to produce documents and a task manager. Those are the fundamentals. So, all of those are available right here in Google. Google Calendar, it's a calendar. Google Keep is a fantastic note-taking app. Google Contacts is your contact, and I didn't say this one's your contact database, so you can put all of your contacts in there and have easy access to them. Of course, Gmail, which is what many people are familiar with, is your email system. Google Docs is your word processor. And Google Task, and you can do task.google.com, and it'll bring you to the task management tool. Now, what else does it mean? I'm going to use a document just to get you to thinking about this, and I'm going to show you. I don't want to be, hold on. I don't want to be in this account. Let me switch accounts. I want to be in this account. Let me go back. I saw my resume up there. um, show you a couple of things when I say things work together. And I'm going to use just starting with Google Docs as the foundation because you can link so many things. If you look right here, there's some quick access templates, meeting notes, email draft, more. So a Google Doc gives you much more capability than just typing a document. Some of you may remember that I said that I have some templated emails that I send every month. So I'm going to use this as an example and I'm going to show you how this works. It's to get you thinking and then get you thinking, what else can I do with this? I use this email draft. It's a template. You can put in who you're going to send it to, who you're going to CC, who you're going to blind copy. And you can put a subject line in there. And then you can type your email. Now, you may think, why would I write an email in a Word document, in a Google Doc? Why don't I just open up the email and write the email? Where is it more efficient for me to open this Google Doc as part of my ecosystem and create the email here? Here's why. I'm going to show you. Right to the left is this big old M. So imagine you have a series of emails that you send out regularly, and maybe you change one or two words in the email. You send the email to the same group of people all the time. This is live, Micah. Glad to have you in the building with us. And you use pretty much the same subject line all the time. So you write this templated email, you have it sitting here, you get ready to send it, you hit, I'm not going to put a name in here, but you hit this M. What it does is it starts up Gmail. It fills in the information that you typed in the body of the email. If I had names in here to copy or blind copy, it would fill that in. Now I can schedule. I'm going to send this to myself. Okay. Then now I can either send it right away. I can schedule it for later. If I'm sending it to say, and I did this, I had a volunteer role and I would have to send emails to like 30 people at a time, but I didn't want all 30 people to see each other's email address. I just wanted them to see that they individually got an email from me. So I use this little um, icon down here, toggle confidential mode. That then made Google send the email to each individual person and they didn't see it. I know some of us in the old days when we didn't want to share email addresses, we would blind copy everyone. This is another way to do it. Okay. So that's just one example of when you know what you can do with one system that works together, how you can build your own ecosystem using something differently than what you maybe thought you could use it as. So that's just one example. Just, just one. It's pure and simple. I do see your question, Roy. I'm going to come back to your question. Keep putting your questions in, and I will will put come back to them because I do want to answer your question. So let's go back. I'm going to create another document and show you right back here this meeting notes. So let's say you have a meeting on your calendar. If you click this, it'll bring up your calendar. And let's say I want to add this. If I have attendees, it'll fill them in. It gives me a template where I can take notes. But check this out. It also has action items here. I can convert this action item right from these meeting notes to a task on my Google Tasks list. I don't have to write it down, copy it in, text it to myself, all the stuff we do. I won't say we do, I'll say I do. I used to write it down, text it to myself, email it to myself, then copy and paste it into my task list. You can just go here and add it as a task, and it'll go on your task list. And because it's linked to the meeting, if I have attendees in that meeting, I automatically they'll see it as well. Because what this does is put the Google Doc in the description of the meeting appointment. I had a client that we would meet every week. And every week we used a shared Google Doc, and it was this meeting template, and we would jointly take notes, jointly build our agenda, and the only thing the person had to do was open the appointment in their calendar because the Google Doc was right in the description of the appointment. So when you know that these capabilities and these built-in ways that these programs are linked together, you can reduce your steps and just build your workflows around it. Like I said, one of my regular workflows is the one with the email because I do volunteer work. I have two organizations. Two organizations. One of them, I have 3 meetings a week. I have those templated emails built, and they go to the same people, and I schedule them out, like, for the whole month. And I showed you how I do the email. I set the calendar, and once a month, I don't have to think about any of those reminders and saying, "Give me your agenda items, and here's the link." I do it once a month, they're all done, and then they just go out for the month. I'm done. I put in maybe 40 minutes to do that once a month. But the people that I'm communicating with, they get what they need every week with the one organization 3 times a week, and literally all I've done is used a Google Doc. That's all I did. Didn't do didn't do anything else magical. When I learned I could do this with the Google Doc, I switched because I had all of that in a text expander snippet. But with the text expander snippet, I wasn't at the time wasn't as efficient as putting all the names in, all of the email addresses and having all of that done. It was because it was creating a Google email as well because I use Google, but it wasn't as efficient. When I learned I could do this with the Google Doc, I realized this was much more efficient. So I switched. I took all of those canned emails from my text expansion software and put them in Google Docs. So, um, I only see one question, no other questions. So, Tora, I'm not sure what you mean by shut the front door. What did I do? Who knew what? Tell me what you're talking about. And Frank, you're saying Wow, wow, what? Please explain. Give me some feedback. 'Cause I'm not sure what you're let me know what part is making, that it's helpful for you, maybe something you learned today, and you're using Google you miss using Google Docs for the day job, you're now an all M365. You can do many of these same things with the 365 environment. It's a little bit different, but a lot of these same capabilities you can do. I use, with 365 because I use 365 with my client. I use, Loop very similarly, Microsoft Loop, I use it very similarly to the way I'm showing you. Different tool, but very similar capabilities. So when you have these ecosystems, the trick is all of these software products learning, well, how do I use this to my benefit to make me more efficient? They're not just putting the software out there to put it out there. They're putting it out there, take advantage of it, and just really learn how to use it. And Tor, if you think this is a master class, wait till we get through because I want to really dig in over these next couple of weeks and help us understand some of the workflows we can build out and really take to our advantage if we happen to want to use this ecosystem. And again, it's just one. This is one ecosystem. I talked about on a live stream before how I have a Google form built. When the person fills out the the form fills in the information in a spreadsheet. When the spreadsheet gets the new line of information, the new row of information, it creates a PDF. The PDF creates an email and it sends the email to the person who filled out the Google form with the PDF attached to the email, and I never touch anything. And it's 100% Google, and everything I use in that workflow is free. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a survey that you have a membership community. Like I have a membership community, the Equip Institute Network, and I want to collect information because maybe I'm figuring out a class or whatever. I create a Google form, attach it to a spreadsheet. When the person fills out the Google form, the information goes into the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet triggers an email and a PDF, and it sends the person the email with the PDF, and it puts a copy of the PDF in a Google folder where I have access to it, and it lets me know that the PDF is in the Google folder. All I have to do is set up that workflow one time and let the members of the community know, please fill out this form. And in fact, truly, that's something that I'm doing because I'm working on an idea, and the way the information is going to get to me is members of the community will fill out a Google form, and the workflow that I just described is how it's going to be done. It uses Google Form, it uses Google Sheets, it uses Google Docs. And you can just use a PDF reader, and I can't think of the name of PDF creator that's in Google, and it uses an extension in Google Sheets to do that. So Google Sheets and Gmail, all of those, all in one, just one ecosystem, but it works, and I don't have to keep doing. Everybody's talking about using. I'm just being me, y'all. I'm just telling you how I use the stuff because I want you to really start thinking creatively about how do I use something that I have every day, I have access to every day, and I can use it to reduce the amount of time and the amount of clicks that I have to go through to accomplish. And this is really huge with communication, right? And you don't have to buy a lot of extra tools. to do this. It's all capabilities right here in the Google ecosystem. Like literally, it's there. So I have I can't believe, Tori, you're not asking me a question, ma'am. Did you go park the car? Let me know you went and parked the car. So we do have a question, and the question is, do you use a lot of keyboard shortcuts with the Google Suite? Not as many as I can. I do use some, and I will take some of one of the shows, and we'll run through some of the most common ones I use. I use them more with processing email to get through it quickly. Um, to create when I'm in my email box, I use them a lot there. Not as much in the other tools, and that's something I can work on. See, you just gave me an idea, and we can work through that together, and I can show you all how to use keyboard shortcuts. So today was just start thinking yourself about, if I put my ecosystem together and I want to reduce the friction and I want to use this environment, this one single environment that I already have access to, how do I use it? What is just one workflow, one process that I want to put together, build out to reduce the number of steps that I have to go through to get that workflow done? It starts with understanding the many, 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 many software tools that are built in and available to us in this environment, in this one single Google ecosystem. It starts there. The rest of it is really just your creativity. It's what you can come up with for yourself. Just think about family reunions, community service, faith-based service, church service, synagogue service, whatever, small business, content creation, family, any of those, whatever the areas of your life are where you can use the Google Suite, think of what are things that you could do. What are workflows you can set up with this single ecosystem? Now, in my case, I also, because the Google environment and Evernote are tightly integrated, I move a lot of data back and forth between the two because of that integration, that connection between the two of them. As you all know, my information hub is Evernote, but I still use this Google environment where it makes sense. Meeting agendas, especially when I'm working with teams of people, groups of people for collaboration, by and large, I tend to default for many things to the Google Suite because so many people are familiar and it doesn't scare them. It's pretty straightforward and they don't have to know all of the detailed advanced features. I want you all, if you haven't started exploring some of the advanced features, to start exploring some of the advanced features as we go through these sessions over the next couple of weeks. So, Tori, I can't imagine you being amazed. This is here she come on. Questions. I'm over here taking note and clicking in Google in amazement. And then you got the nerve to laugh. Ah, and you subscribe to G Suite for your side business. And that's great, Roy. I use G Suite as well. One of the for a couple reasons, by the way. And I use Google Voice, by the way. I have 2 or 3 different Google Voice numbers. And I got them when you could still get them for free. So, I have you can get text messages, you can send text messages. Let me tell you a little story about when I really bought into Google Voice numbers. Y'all might remember a little thing called 911. Just might remember it. Nobody could use their cell phones. I was able to reach everybody I needed to reach because I was able to go to my Google Voice number, one of my Google Voice numbers, and I could send text messages and they went through to everybody I needed to reach, separate from my corporate. Now, at the time, I was on a special network, so my cell phone actually continued to work, but it was for my job, so I needed to keep it for that. But for everything else that was not associated with my corporate world, I used my Google Voice and got through to everybody. And I even scheduled text messages to go out later in the day. That was when I really bought into using Google Voice. Then when I realized, and was before we had some of the capabilities we have now, I would get a voicemail, it would transcribe it and send it to me in an email. So when people call me on those numbers that I use, I get an email from I don't have to go listen, take the time to listen to the voicemail message. I just read it very quickly in email because they all come through. A couple of them, I literally never answer them. They only take messages and I respond to people via text message. Why? I can just be right on the keyboard, go to voice.google.com, log in, and respond very quickly on the keyboard. It's very, very fast. That's just an example of things that maybe you haven't thought of doing. Capability. Now, Google Voice, now you have to pay for it. At the time that I got these accounts, they were still letting you get them for free. And as long as I'm using them, those numbers will stay active. If I stop using it, I'll lose it and then I would have to pay for it. But as long as, and I use them. So as long as I continue to use them, I have them. I'm not paying for them. And they work. Text messages, phone calls, all through Google Voice. And the beauty is, if I change my cell phone, I don't have to change my phone number. I just move the Google Voice app to the new phone. Same phone number. If I no longer want to get messages on my phone or don't want the phone to ring, I can turn it off and just let it go to email. So start thinking creatively. And if you have any ideas right now, go ahead and drop them in chat. What one thing can you think of that you've heard me talk about tonight that you could use anything that I've shown you tonight or talked about in today's show right now? Put it in chat. Maybe it's something with your family. Maybe it's something with, volunteer. Whatever it is that you want to use it for. Just think of it. I see Tori, you use Google Voice. Yeah, powerful. And yeah, Tech, you used it when it was Grand Central. Mm-hmm. Yep. Everybody's being really quiet. Y'all scaring me. You're scaring me. You're being very quiet. I hope I didn't upset you. I want you all to have fun with these tools, though. So, this is a very, very powerful ecosystem, and there's a lot to it. You just, we'll get through a couple more examples, and I want to see what you come up with. Log into your G Suite. Um, okay. Tora says that email and document will be utilized going forward for emails. Yeah, that one. is one of my favorites. I use it. I literally use that thing all the time because I can start writing something, and if I decide I want to change it, I just go change the document and it's good to go. It is ready to go, and I don't have to do anything extra other than go change the content. I put links in there. I can do attachments if I want to. All of that still works. It just to me it made my life simpler, at least in terms of that level of communication. And oh, by the way, if you really into AI, you can write your email content and then run Gemini against it and see what it comes up with to help you refine your writing. Remember, you got Gemini. Where is it? I moved it or didn't move it. Gemini is in here somewhere. Where did it go? I know I saw it. There it is. Gemini is right here. So remember, you've got Gemini, which is Google's large language model or generative AI tool, right here. You don't have to go someplace else. It's right there for you. Okay. Oops. Up. Okay. Well, we've got a visitor here that I haven't met, or it's someone I know, and you're using a surprise account. So I want to say hello. I love this name. Upstate Pickleball and Paddles. I never knew until tonight about confidential mode. Oh yeah, when I found that, because I was having to send emails to hundreds of people, and I needed them to be separate. And trying to do that blind copy, I was like, oh, I'll tell you what I did when I did that. I had 26 groups of people with anywhere from 25 to about 150 people per group. I put them all in my contact list in Gmail. I made groups for each one, and then I wrote the emails in the Google Doc. I put the group name in, and then I used the confidential mode to send it out. So it sent out the individual emails, and I only had to do that one time. So that's the way that was the workflow that I set up for that particular instance. Oh, hi Gary. You have two channels? Cuz I'm subscribed to your other channel, Gary. I didn't know about this one, so I will go. Thank you. Glad to see you over here hanging out with us. Gary Link. Yes, awesome gentleman. I am subscribed to your other channel, so now I got to go subscribe to this one. Didn't know it was you. Awesome. David, what are you talking about? Me too hashtag movement. What are you talking about? I have no idea what you mean by that. Are you all conspiring? Tora, I don't know what David is doing. He's doing something over here. And Tech says if you pay for Google Drive capacity, you get Gemini Pro for free. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Good to know. And so yeah, you talk about cloud storage, you have access to all your documents and other types of files and your photos and all of that. And now I do not the email that is on my YouTube channel is not anything that I demonstrate with. It's also not um anything that I use to send emails to other people in terms of business with. It's a completely different. And then the email that's listed in my how to contact me in my YouTube channel is yet a completely different Google account. They're all different. They're all different. So do be wise. We talked about a little bit last week before last because I wasn't here last Friday. Thank you all for coming back. Um, be wise about how you set up your access. Many people think about what's convenient for them and that they don't want to have to remember all of these different systems. There are ways to handle that because I have a lot of accounts and I don't know any of the passwords. I use a password manager for all of these different accounts. I just know how to navigate very quickly and I know what I use them for. So use a little wisdom, Torah. You know all about this. Use a little wisdom in doing this and think beyond. I don't want to have to remember all of these different accounts because you really don't have to remember all of these accounts. You just have to be intentional about what you're setting them up and how you're using them and where you're putting access to them and what tools you're putting them in. David, you are confusing my brain right now. No, Torah, don't you try and figure out David at David Hunt on a live stream. You're gonna you're gonna go left. I know, right? I see going left already. Going left. All off track where I'm supposed to be. So today has been just starting to think through. I'm gonna land this plane. Really, really give thought to based on what you've just seen right now and you've begun to understand, think through what are my workflows? What's one or two workflows that I can really dig in and I'm committed to dig in and set it up. And if you need help, head over to my website, join the community. I'll help you. I'm committed to helping you. Just join the community. We can dig in. I promise y'all, I promise you the lounge is going to be relaunched in the not too distant future so that we can do some offline, if you will, work sessions. Some offline work sessions to get some real work done and set you up. This was really value, Florence. I can't wait to pair this with the summit you and Hicks are gonna do. James Hicks is gonna get you. He's gonna get you, Tora. He's gonna get you. You are being a tornado right now. You being a tornado. You stirring stuff up. So I appreciate you all being here. I'm looking forward to these next couple of sessions to share with you and demonstrate to you even more. I wanted to just kind of get you thinking about what you can do. What you can do, what would make sense for you, just even knowing that these capabilities, they're literally right in the palm of your hand. They're you already have them. You don't have to go look someplace, be doing anything extra. Just look at what you already have because it just might give you exactly what you need to be productive and work toward your purpose. We're talking purpose and productivity. You got to know what your purpose is, what's your goal, what's your objective, and have a strategy to deliver it so you produce or create or create build an outcome intentionally and it's not by accident. And at least for this community, I know you all are very purpose driven. So let's use what we have to accomplish our purpose. I'm so excited to have you all here. I look forward to when we are back together again. And I will say good night. Have a fabulous weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And hit me up on the from the website or leave a comment below and we'll keep this party going. Good night, everybody.